Tristan, you said that, or was it, maybe it was Pat, someone was talking about how it could actually make the problem of human trafficking worse because because it throws them in with all people who are registered sex offenders, and it makes it harder to define them as a group and pursue them that way. I didn't read much up on it, but I'll probably vote no on it. It seems kind of like I mean, there's already kidnapping laws, and there's already penalties against human trafficking.
When you look at the state law, the punishment for human trafficking in California, it's typically less than 5 years in jail for human trafficking. The federal the federal term for that is 15 to life, I think. So personally, I think that human trafficking is almost or on the same level as murder. I mean.
Oh yeah, definitely. But there's a few problems that I have with it. One of the major ones is internet regulation. And one of the provisions of the bill, or of the proposition, is that the government can monitor people who are registered sex offenders' internet activity, which sounds great because sex offenders generally are pretty sketchy people. But I think that there could be issues with violation of constitutional rights there, and anything where the government starts trying to intervene on people's freedom of information and kind of regulate that, or just monitor it, I'm a little wary of. What were you going to say, Ryan?
Couldn't it be a problem too, where they use these draconian measures and go after like sensual prostitution, even though that's illegal too? Like where now these
or even I know that. I don't know. I know that people have got, for public urination, if you're caught peeing behind a tree, you can end up on a Megan's Law list or whatever. So if you're
that's a question. Like,
what did you say?
Because like the scope could then get to the point where you have to like draconian.
Oh yeah.
Well, it all depends on how we define these terms.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. How you urinated in a field, they can monitor your internet and monitor everything you're doing legally.
Yeah.
So I see it as violations of no one likes sex offenders. They're pretty creepy people, but I don't think that some 18-year-old who gets caught peeing on a tree in Davis should have his rights violated, have the government have the right to search the internet.
Well, one of the things pointed out in the arguments in there is that the way they define human trafficking is so broad that, first of all, pimps would be included, but people who receive financial aid from a sex worker could be considered to be human trafficking.
I know that
some of the arguments made against it are from Starchild, who's on the Libertarian National Committee, and I'm not sure if he still is, but at least he used to be a sex worker. And they also have someone in there who has an advocacy organization for sex workers arguing against it.
That's who I've read her arguments and looked her up online. I guess she does something where she works with prostitutes on health issues and that kind of stuff. And her argument is that her son, who's a Marine who just got back from Iraq, is financially dependent on her, and he can technically be persecuted under this law because he's financially dependent on her, and she works with prostitutes. So under the broad brush of this proposition, he and she could be potentially persecuted by the government.
Yeah, given lieu of the term terrorist, it might be a little bit wise to vote against it potentially. It all depends on the definition of what human trafficking is, and
so
I don't know what the answer to that is.
I can definitely understand someone who would want to vote yes on it just because of the language of the bill, but I'll probably vote no on it. Anything else?
Okay. 1 point. That's if you actually want to get rid of human trafficking, just legalize prostitution, and there's no longer a need for it.
I think the counties in Nevada are good example. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
That's true.